Dear Atheist, how can nature do this? In this first example, we're going to be speaking in terms of tremendous size as well as extremely small changes. Our immense universe has a diameter of about 91 billion light years. This means that traveling at the speed of light, or 670 billion miles per hour, it would take us 91 billion years just to cross our universe. Our sun is 92 million miles away, so light takes just 8 minutes and 20 seconds to travel from the sun to Earth, moving at the speed of light. A universe that requires 91 billion years to cross its expanse, moving at the speed of light, gives us an idea just how immense our universe really is. Archimedes was a Greek mathematician and physicist. He estimated that it would take 10 to the 63 grains of sand to fill the universe. Let's imagine a universe that is just 75% filled with sand, which would be about 10 to the 40th power. This is an interesting number, 10 to the 40th, because it's the same measurement that is used to determine what would have happened during the initial moments of the universe at minus 430th of a second, when gravity and the electromagnetism were perfectly balanced, if we had changed this balance even slightly. Scientists state that any change in this precise balance, plus or minus 10 to the 40th, and the universe would have collapsed back upon itself even before it began. This minute change of just 10 to the 40th represents a single grain of sand in a universe filled to 75% with sand. This is an extremely small change, but it would have caused catastrophic consequences for our universe. What would you say is the chance that nature could have done this all by itself or by mere chance? Mathematicians have calculated that there is absolutely no possibility that this could have happened by happenstance. The first problem is that in the evolutionary process, nothing can set itself perfectly the first time, because the entire premise of evolution is based upon billions of errors before a successful choice is made. For this reason, a variance of just 10 to the 40 for any change in that first second of the universe would have stopped the initial expansion of the universe and caused it to collapse back upon itself and be destroyed. In other words, evolution did not cause the universe to begin, and nature did not cause the universe to begin. Do you know anything apart from intelligence that can set something so precisely that if it were to move one part in 10 to the 40th, it would cease to exist? There's no human being on earth that could set anything this precise without the aid of a computer. And yet, as we examine this, we see that this is precisely what took place in less than 1 second when the universe began to balance gravity and electromagnetism. It took extreme intelligence to first know that this setting was necessary, and it took extreme power and control in these forces when the universe began. There is no power in nature, unassisted, that could do this. A similar feature took place at the beginning of the universe, when the physical properties of every atom that makes up everything in the universe was determined. In this immense universe, all the matter that will make up everything we can now see, stretching out in space for 91 billion light years, it all began with a particle of densely compacted matter that was nearly invisible, scientists say. Imagine all the stars, the galaxies, and the planets that now exist compressed into a particle that's less than the size of 1 grain of sand. In spite of this tiny size, it weighed the same as all of the stars and the planets in the universe do today. It was from this tiny compacted particle that exploded in pure plasma, moving out at the speed of light, that everything began. The atoms which were expanding from this explosion were perfectly balanced in less than that first second. Every atom has a proton and an electron that is circling it. The ratio of mass difference between the electron and the proton is 1 to 1,836. This means that a proton is 1,836 times larger than an electron. Despite this massive size difference, they both have the exact same electrical charge. If we were to change this electrical charge just 1 part in 100 billion at the beginning of the universe, then every atom would have come apart before the universe began. How could any natural process know this precise requirement for the size difference between the electron and the proton and set them precisely during that first second of the universe? This is the same problem for evolution and a natural process that we have already encountered with the balance of gravity and electromagnetism. This balance also in the atoms of the universe was set instantaneously at less than 1 second when the universe began. Now, there was no time for any evolutionary process because this did not take place over the course of billions of years. It all happened in less than 1 second. So, what evolutionary process is capable of making an intelligent decision in less than 430th of a second and it being precisely accurate? Only when intelligence acts upon any process can it be guided to exact a specific outcome. So far, we've seen only 2 of the fine-tuned constants that we've examined that are present in the universe. There are estimates from 120 to 200 of these physical constants that exist in the universe that are fine-tuned to make life possible on Earth. Now, imagine sitting at a control panel and seeing 200 dials on the face of this device. Your job is to set each of these dials at the precise setting necessary for life to exist on Earth. What would be the chance that anyone could do this the first time? If we combined all the intelligence for every person who's lived upon the Earth, it would be impossible for any human being to know how to do this and accomplish this in just 1 second when the universe began. In order for this to happen, this would have required an advanced intelligence that is infinite and unlimited. So, please tell me that you understand that nature does not have the capacity to do these kinds of things. Only an intelligent being with a mind that is extremely advanced and could know and understand what the consequences of moving these dials in any direction in relation to all the other dials, all 200 of them on this control panel, what this would do, and know this in advance of setting them all at the same time. You see, unless these 200 dials were all set at once, life could not exist on Earth. Evolutionists, they talk about how life could begin on Earth by a natural process. But what's not disclosed is that the Earth would not have been here to produce life if intelligence had not already acted upon the universe hundreds of times before Earth ever existed. There was a genius at work even before life began on Earth to set the universe precisely where it needed to be so that life on Earth would exist. Dear atheist, if you sincerely do not believe that there is any evidence for God, then you will need to explain to the world why science has already demonstrated that no natural process could have produced the universe as we have it all on its own. Just as every cell in our bodies relied upon information that is present inside the cell for how it should order itself, so also has the universe demonstrated that there were instructions for how the universe would commence and move towards an ordered result that would make our lives possible on earth. Nature on its own could never do this. Only a being who possessed the power and intelligence necessary to engineer this magnificent universe would be capable of such a feat of genius.